Oh, for good.
Yeah. See? So it
Then
is...
They're cleared out.
You can delete it later, but it's a dictaphone, so you can talk and record stories on it. So I want to record some stories. Dad asked me to do it that month that I was down here, and then I just never did. So we'll do this sometime.
Trevor's always wanted to do that too.
You've got so many good stories.
Yes, Mom. You've lived through a time that we have never lived through. Like having no water, no electricity. Guys had a spring house to go keep your milk and eggs cold. That's what he wants to hear. He wants to hear how the living was before. You know, I mean, when you were a kid.
I'm trying to forget.
But that's, I and Trevor always wanted to do it too. Well, Alex is gonna. We'll get her talking. We'll get her a few shots of Fireball.
Oh,
I remember the story about you and I think it was you and your cousin driving to school, and then the horse got spooked or something. The buggy ran.
Oh, that was my aunt.
Your aunt.
Me and my Aunt Mildred.
Aunt Mildred.
Yeah.
You remember bless her heart, Aunt Mildred. I always liked Aunt Mildred. Mildred. Jesus. But all four sisters. Grandma was, my grandma. And then you had Aunt Edna, and Aunt Emma, and Aunt Mildred.
Who was Susan?
Susan Longberg?
I think so, yeah.
My cousin.
I remember one of your aunts wrote a letter once, an incomprehensible writing, asking how Susan was doing, and Susan's been dead for years. We got a card from her. One of your aunts.
Must have been on your side. Must have been your Aunt Susan from your dad's side. No, not your dad's side. That'd be your uncle's side.
Oh.
That would be his grandpa's side.
Grandpa.
Grandpa. Yeah, Grandpa.
Richard was his grandpa.
Yeah. I don't know who in the hell you belong to.
We are... And all the same, you've got a better memory than all of us put together.
Told you, Mom. Told you.
No.
Yes.
No.
Okay, does that cake look really even? That look pretty good, man.
About as even as it's gonna get. So you just...
I'm popping her in.
It's about time.
Here, this one. We want a piece maybe this afternoon.
You said you were gonna bake it yesterday.
Probably before he goes back, we'd like a piece of it.
We'll have it with our supper
put
tonight.
all the gooey stuff on it now.
We'll have
a piece tonight.
Yes.
No problem.
What happens before it, we don't know
And
yet.
I got to crunch.
Yeah.
And I'll have you do that part, Alex.
Do what?
Where is the thing? Where
What
is
now?
it? Okay, I got some of this up here too. The caramel. I couldn't find the jars, so I just bought the whole
What
thing.
else goes on? Caramel and...
You can use fudge. This time I chose caramel because it's a yellow cake. Where is it?
Don't drop this one.
No, please.
Get in there, girl. Okay.
Your oven looks so nice and clean.
Yes, it does, doesn't it, Mom?
Remember that time you made, what was it, monkey bread? And you used the two-piece bunt pan?
You were helping me.
Oh, the same. Okay, I'm not the one that burned sugar to the bottom of the oven.
I know. I do remember that. 34 to 38 minutes. We're going to go 34 minutes. Okay.
Who knows? We'll have cake sometime today,
Banana
probably.
caramel cake. Ooh, that looks good. Huh. Yeah, leave that here. We definitely want that. All right. This.
They always had them at home,
Yeah.
And Oh, don't do that.
Yes, yes.
I don't know what the story is, you know what I mean?
That's all right. Just talk.
And I was 4 years old anyhow. And Mom had me at the old farmhouse on one side of the living room. And 4 years later, she had my sister on the other side of the living room. And they wouldn't let me in the living room. They made me stay in the kitchen. So I had to stay in the kitchen with my mom's two sisters, my aunts, till the baby got there. And after the baby got there, why, they let me go in and see the baby, which was good because I wanted a baby. But I don't remember whether I wanted a baby brother or sister at that time, but I got a baby sister. And being as how I had my legs were burned so bad when I was 1 year old, well, I guess they were my cousins, Esther and Louis Hinkle and Oliver Hinkle. They bought me a tricycle when I was about 2 or 3 maybe, a little tricycle, you know. Because the doctor said I probably never walk if I didn't do they didn't have therapy back in them days, you know. Or they didn't even have a burn care center. You know, you just went to a little horse doctor, I guess, or one horse doctor. And so I had this tricycle, and that was my therapy, you know, to get my leg, you know. And so everybody told me, my aunts, uncles, everybody said that my sister was going to take my tricycle away from me and ride it. She was just born, you know. So I went and hid it under the stairwell, under the stair where the stairs went upstairs. I went and hid my tricycle, so my baby sister couldn't steal my tricycle. And I don't remember her ever riding my tricycle, but she probably did, because when I got older, you know, I was too big for the tricycle, you know. Then after I got bigger, they bought me skis and stuff, you know, to keep me exercising all the time. But that was the youngest one. I was the earliest I can remember being 4 years old, hiding my tricycle, because I didn't want her to steal my tricycle, I'll tell you. Nobody's going to take my tricycle. No.
See, that's not so hard. We'll do a couple more later.
Yeah, well, I can't even... I don't have no stories.
Oh.
I don't. I can't think of it. In our stomach and 24 on our back.
Yeah, tell that story, Bob. That's a good story.
She turned on the dryer.
Oh, yeah, I'll turn it on. I'll wait. Sorry.
Go on.
I'm sorry. I'll wait, Teddy.
Well, Shirley was like 4 years old and I was about 8. And my dad always did a lot of coon hunting, you know. And somehow or other, one of our coon hounds got sick. So Dad made a bed in front of the horse's manger, you know. They always had a manger where they fed them hay. And put this coon dog in the hay in front of this horse. Well, the dog got sicker and sicker. So he brought the dog into the house and put it behind the stove because it was cold wintertime. And finally, the dog never did get better and got sicker, and the horse started getting sick. And it get down and it couldn't get up, you know. And so Dad took it down in the shed and put 4 holes, you know, a hole here and a hole there and a hole here and a hole there, and put his legs in each one, so make the horse stand. That's what the veterinary said to do. Put a strap around his belly and tie him to the, you know, ceiling, and so the horse could stand up. Well, the dog was still going yet, but he was pretty sick. I remember that. And finally, the horse died. Yeah. So the veterinarian told my dad to cut his head off and take him to the veterinarian in Madison, Wisconsin, to their, whatever call it.
Laboratory or something.
Yeah, it's not like a laboratory or where they would do experiments, because they didn't know what rabies was even, I guess, in those times, not like that. And then the dog died. And so that's when the doctor got real worried about us kids and Mom and Dad, because we had the dog in the house. The old Dad said, well, the dog never bit us, but the doctor said we better all have shots, and in them days there was a lot of shots. So I guess Mom and me took, I took 24 in the stomach and 24 in the back. I remember that. And I hated to go to the doctor and get those shots.
Christ.
Then after we had ours, then my dad and my sister, Shirley, they went. And she was a little skinny babe, 4 years old. She didn't have no meat on her bones. And she told the doctor, don't hit my bones with that needle. Because she was so little, in the stomach and in the back. And we never did get the rabies. But then the tests come back from Madison, Wisconsin, that the horse had rabies. So it was a good thing we all took rabies shots, I guess.
And that's what killed the dog.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's what killed the hound dog. But the hound dog, they said, must have got bit when he was out hunting, like from a skunk, another rabies animal or something,
That's why I'm glad I did his boosters,
Mm-hmm.
Shannon doesn't do boosters because, she got the backyard.
They never leave the house in the first place.
Yeah. So then that's what, Teddy, I told her, is a different story.
Yeah.
He's out among other dogs and animals.
Instead of our tool shed out there, and Grandpa had built it over top of the water was coming out of the ground, spring water, like you've seen spring water, like out in Colorado, they come out of the side of the mountain.
Yeah.
That's where we got our water, and we put our butter in a tin can, and we put our cream and milk in a tin can, and always took it down to the spring house, and hooked it onto wires and stuff, and just left it sit in the cold, and the water ran out in a little stream, like that, and it got bigger and bigger as it got down through the cow pasture and the hog pasture, and then it got to be a creek. Really way down, way on down the farm. But it did start up there at the spring house, and we always, that was my job, to run down and get the butter, run down and get the milk.
How far away was that?
Oh, I would say, say our house is here. Oh, maybe down to Patty's house, maybe. The spring. It was quite. It was because this one winter, my sister and I. It was on a hillside kind of, and my sister and I we would go sleigh riding, and we always had to watch out for the horses because Dad let the horses out. In the wintertime they kept the cattle and the horses in the barn because it was so cold out. Of course they didn't have water in the barns in them days. So he always had to let the horses go run down to the spring water. And here we were sleigh riding, my sister and I was, and I was behind her, and here come the horses. And this one horse just jumped right over top of her.
No kidding.
She was only 4 years old, and I was 8.
And he just...
Yeah, he just jumped right over top of her. Otherwise, they would have stumped right on top of her, Dad didn't know we were sleigh riding, and of course, we didn't know he was going to let the horses out either, so...
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
How often did he do that during the day?
He had to do it at least once a day.
No, got to drink once a day?
I suppose. I don't remember. I was just a kid. I was just a kid. Why would I know? I don't know. I never paid no attention. I used to climb up the apple trees. I know, and he said there and eat apples.
Did you never carry water up, and then have it for the horses and cows? Water? They all had to go down.
Then we had to let the cattle out too for the water. Yeah, but them horses just jumped right over top of her. She was so lucky.
Boy, she was.
Yeah. Yeah, she was real lucky. That was same spring. Of course, we only had one spring on the farm. That's the same spring I pushed her in, too.
Yeah, tell them this one.
What?
Tell them this. This is funny.
My sister was, I was a baby for 4 years before she come along. And then they started taking, what's this there, sweet baby? Watch out for your sister. Take care of your baby sister. Watch, poor baby sister. I hated my baby sister. And, but she had a habit of, if you were standing, say you were standing there, and she'd come running behind you and just push you, And that got to be tiresome after a while. And one day we was down playing in the spring water. We shouldn't have been down there anyhow because it was cold, wet, cold water. But anyhow, I was standing there, and I suppose I was right by the creek, or we had to be close to it because she come up behind me and pushed me, you know, and she probably pushed me in the water. I don't remember whether she did or not, or just about did push me in. So I turned around and I pushed her, and she went right in the water, right face first. I picked her up by the back of her coat like this, and I set her on the side of the bank, and I run like the devil. And there she was the last time I see her. She was going, you know, spitting blood, mud, you know, and water, and
Sound like she deserved it.
well, she did, but she never pushed anybody after that. Yeah. But I hid for all afternoon. I hid all afternoon, and then it was starting to get dark, and I started to get scared. I wanted to come home, but I was scared to come home because I thought they'd kill me. Because you know, I put my baby sister in the water, and finally I did come home, but I didn't get no repercussions for it. But I remember Shirley never pushed me after that.
It's
But
kind of
I'll
like
never forget.
Ron.
She was spitting mud, you know, and grass, and you know.
Do you remember if you got in trouble for it?
That's what I said. I can't
You
remember
can't
if
remember
I
it,
got.
huh?
I think probably got told not to do that no more or something, you know, because I was scared the way it was. I hid behind some hay shocks. You know, them. You put shocks together, you know, two on each side, and then one across the top. And
Yeah,
hay
the
shocks.
corn stalks?
Well, they were wheat. There was oats, oat shocks.
okay.
They were oats.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I hid behind one of them out in the field for all day long, practically, all afternoon anyhow.
Kind of like what we would do with Ron. As soon as you and Dad left, I'd go hide because we knew Ron was going to
He's
come
gonna
after us.
kill you.
Yeah, he was a shithead. Trying to shoot us with a BB gun. And we all knew. As soon as Mom and Dad left, look out, Rod's gonna, you know. But Connie got him one day. Yeah, she did. We thought we killed him.
The snowplow couldn't get through,
Yeah,
so they'd have to shovel.
I believe
And
it.
then the snowplow would go through, and the banks would be so high you couldn't even see the snowplow.
Yeah, I believe it, Mom.
Yeah,
I lived in Wisconsin, 2 winters when I was up there.
yeah. I guess
And
they
then
have
Iowa for 30-some years.
Well, when we first come down here 52 years ago, we had a lot of snow at one time.
I know, and I
But
remember
we had
that,
to,
Mom.
I had to shovel out there to get
We
you,
used
so
to
your
get
dad
a
could
lot.
back his semi up into there.
Yeah.
And I had snowbanks that I couldn't see out
Yeah.
over them.
And that is the climate change there because
Uh-huh.
I remember too when we first moved here, we'd get snow like Iowa.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and
Because I
I
thought we
mean-
went south, and I kept saying to Ray, "My God, you call this south? I sure don't call it south." You know, I couldn't see out. Well, I couldn't get out the door. You know, even let alone.
I
We had a lot
know.
of deep snow.
So yeah, and
And now we have-
though, shit. There's nothing down here. Everybody gets. I mean, we can have like an inch. And you can see Rick and other people
Oh,
getting
God.
out their little
Out there with
their
their little
tractors, and you know, it's like, oh my God, are you kidding me? It's going to be gone.
You don't.
know,
You don't bother shoveling even
Yeah.
that up
No,
north.
Yeah.
like your grandpa said, God put it there, God will take it away.
Yeah. So it's yeah. I mean, I'm glad. I'm glad the winters are not like it was Iowa. Ugh. I never wanted to. go
Because
back
Dennis,
there.
I can remember him hanging over one of them snow banks, you know, hanging, you know, playing around out there.
Uh-huh.
It was
Yeah.
very deep snow. As deep as that hole you fell into out there
Yeah.
in Iowa.
Yeah, that was Do you remember that, Alex?
No.
Oh God. It was. I was back home.
Oh, when you
I
fell
was
off the
back
porch.
home. Yeah.
Yes.
You and your dad were staying in the.
Where the
bathroom
hell
brushing
have you
teeth.
been?
Because your dad was gonna get the front, I was gonna get the back.
Uh-huh.
You know. Well, but then it was time for he had to take you back home. You know. And I fell in that hole. And
You were like a turtle you were
That
like
was
a turtle
that
in
was
your
a
back.
dangerous spot too.
It was.
We didn't
It
have a
hit-
railing.
My back hit that bottom deck. Yeah, and it just felt like somebody just punched me in the back the next
Knocked the
day.
breath out of you.
Yeah. And then the storm was going on. So we had
Yeah.
kind of like a whiteout. I mean, it was like really blowing.
You
and
could have been
snowing.
killed.
Yeah, I mean, I could have. Nobody probably would see me. You know.
They just say, here's my grandma, here's her feet, and here's her head. The rest of her body's in the hole.
Yeah. Damn, that hurt too. That hurt. Yeah. Yep. Yep. But I am glad to be out of there. Iowa is not a place to retire. You don't want to retire to Iowa.
Strangely, it has, I think, the highest number of the elderly in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Does?
I
Yeah.
think so.
Wow.
Either that or Florida.
Could be Florida. Everybody goes down.
Oh, Florida is God's waiting room.
Yeah. It doesn't. I only was down there one time to see Mark and Diane, you know, and then we went to St. Augustine, Florida. But when I was there, I thought, I couldn't live here. Nope. I want the seasons, you know. And it's just, I don't know,
Well, you got the seasons.
it's different than, it just, I don't know, I wouldn't like it. The humidity's terrible.
Hot,
and-
really hot in the summer, really
and
hot.
and it rains, like a lot, then it quits,
You got little
Like the
critters.
rainforest,
You got critters running up down the walls,
those little lizards.
lizards, or whatever
Didn't
they
I
are.
believe Connie told us about the tree rats?
Yes, the tree
Oh, yeah,
rats.
the
and
tree
picture
rats.
of it, yeah. But they like it down there. Those girls like it.
Good Lord, why?
And that's all Alexa knows. Yesterday she
Yeah.
was 18.
I know.
I forgot to say happy birthday on Facebook to her.
Well, we sent her a card, so.
Yeah.
She should have got that by her birthday.
Yeah, she should. I hope she did. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I didn't know this because Diana never mentioned it. But
Diane always liked the heat, though, hot. She
Yeah.
liked the sun. She always liked to have a dark tan. She always
yeah, she
liked
did.
the sun.
That's why she had a tanning bed.
I remember sitting in her living room and looking out the window and seeing something crawl up her shed there, and I said, "What is that?" And she just didn't bother her a bit. It was like a lizard or something, climbing up and around on the shed. And the first time we were down there, he killed a little baby rattlesnake outside their door, right up by their doorstep.
Jesus, no shit.
Well, I was sitting here like here, and he was on the outside of the door, and I could see Martin jumping up and down, jumping, jumping up and down. And finally he come in, and he said something, Diane was in the kitchen, we were in the living room, I guess they ain't a living room, it was a
Yeah, it was kind of living room down there.
library.
It was all open.
Yeah. And
It's a beautiful home.
then I said, "What were you doing, Mark?" Because he never come in and tell us, because we had all been out walking around the yard not very long before that.
Oh, Jesus.
And
no.
and it was a snake.
Yep.
And that was before they put the 18th hole. They had changed holes,
Oh,
This
okay.
is before that, before. And I
Because the backyard is a chain link fence, right?
Mhm.
And then right there is
Yeah.
the golf course.
Yeah,
There's no way I would.
it's as close as Shannon's over here to
Yeah.
their back door. They had a lot of balls through the windows
Uh-huh.
and stuff and screens and stuff. But I guess after they changed the course around, the holes around, they didn't get so many.
Oh, okay, that's good.
I think she said.
I just don't want to live where the alligators are at. Either.
She said she could see in the sand, where they
Were
been
they
around
bedded
the house,
down for the
been
night?
around the house, and then they went back to the water, in
Uh,
the sand. She could see where they had, they go like that,
Uh-huh.
and you could see it in the sand.
yeah.
How would you like to get out of your car during the night and walk up the walkway with a big old
Nope.
alligator there,
Nope.
crocodile
Nope.
or
Nope.
alligator?
No.
Just use it as a stepping stone as you hop to the door.
Yeah. But no, no. I didn't like it down there at all. I really did. I thought, nope, this is not for me.
And of course, they would turn on their waterworks, their water things at night, and that brings the animals in too, you know.
Yeah, right.
Because they've been hot all day and they want to come in with nice cool waters, you know.
Uh-huh.
You get all that stuff drawn to the bushes and stuff.
It's a weird place down there.
I mean, really, they when they first moved down there, they rented a house.
On the other side of the golf
They
course.
had rented to, and then they, bought the other house.
Yeah.
But I remember Diane talking about the house that they were in when they rented down there. They were closer to the area where alligators were, and the neighbor, told Diane, they'll bed down here and you'll see, in the mornings you'll see where they've been. It's thinking, oh, that's too close to alligators for me. I'd be scared to go outside after dark. I mean, really, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
I guess. I mean, like, especially you couldn't walk your dog. It'd be terrible to walk, Yeah, no. I want 4 seasons.
It's not really a story. It's just sort of a. I was in first grade in a country school, one-room schoolhouse. And I do think that us kids learned more than you guys do because we had all 8 grades in one room, and when we were done with our lessons, we could sit there and listen to the next, like the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, Of course, they always had them come up in front, and sit on the bench, the class that he was teaching. I had a man teacher one year, and I had women teachers. But I remember I think about once a month they had, like, parents' PTA, and the parents all come at nighttime, though. And they had, like, dessert or something. We always had a lunch, and had a meeting, a school meeting. The parents did, because back in them days, the schools were run pretty much by the parents, really. I remember my mom was president one year.
Really?
Yeah. It was and when they bought new books, we got a whole bunch of old books at the house. I suppose they sold them at her sale, though, but anyhow. But I remember they were playing games, and I've told this story to Jeannie before. My question, everybody got a question. And my question was, to this day I'll never forget it, what fruit has its seeds on the outside? I was first grade, and I sat there, and Dummy just sat there, because I couldn't think of nothing. And then they finally told me what it was, strawberries.
Yeah, strawberries.
And to this day, I still know what seeds are on the outside of what fruit.
Yeah.
I could not think of any fruit that had seeds on the outside. And that's so simple, but maybe for a first grader it wasn't, I don't know. And then we'd come to school in the wintertime, and they had a great big old furnace in the middle of the room of the school, one-room schoolhouse. And everybody on a certain day would bring a big old potato, and we'd wrap it up in a cellophane and sit it on the edge of the furnace on the inside of the burner, where the door shut. And that was the best school lunch day we always had, with a baked potato.
That's what you did for us kids.
Yes,
when we were going to the
one-room
schoolhouse.
Yes.
We did the same thing. You had us to
Take a
wrap up our potato, and we'd put our potato when we first got there. And by lunch, and we had to wait for permission to get up to
turn it,
from the teacher. But then by lunchtime, we had a baked potato. Yeah. And then it seemed like the mothers that all would kind of get together and we might have a hot lunch once a month.
Yeah,
did you guys do that?
Yeah, they did that back then.
Yeah, it seems like I remember kind of that.
Yeah. Remember when we just had that one telephone hanging on the wall?
Yes. I haven't seen these in years, but yesterday, I should have pointed it out to Alex, but I wasn't sure where he was at. But remember your chair, and then it was a built-in desk right next. Yep, I saw one of those yesterday.
Did you?
Yep, and it reminded me of the phone on the wall.
They Connie knocked. You probably heard that story. They would go to school. This was when they were in high school, and of course we just had the one phone, and it was hanging on the wall like that basket would be there.
Yeah.
And as soon as they would get home, that phone would start ringing for those girls. And I tell you, I said they just got off the bus. You know, they just saw their people. You know, what did they have to talk to
either
them
their
about?
girlfriends or some boys got home too with some phone numbers.
About the same, yeah. Anyhow, this one day the phone rang, and them two girls, they run for the phone. And they hit that wall, and the phone just went flying. No phone.
Trying to grab it.
And
died.
yeah, and that was the end of the phone.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
we didn't have no phone for a few days.
We
'cause-
broke the phone.
Yeah, you did. You broke the phone. That's for sure.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
did.
one phone.
And I think I've told you too about Ron used to get so pissed off and what would Ron say, Mom? I mean, he wanted to make a phone call, and those two old ladies were always talking.
Yeah. Mrs. Hammonds lived below us, and she was on the phone a lot. Of course, that was what do you call it?
Party line.
Party line.
Right, yeah.
We didn't have a phone like that till we moved down here. We was always on a party line. You could, like 2 rings was one person, and 1 short ring and 1 long ring was somebody else, and a fire call was zing, ding, 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 ding. And everybody running the phone to see where the fire was. And the old men would all get in their cars or pickups and run to the fire to help them fight the fire. But
Did Dad ever do that?
I don't remember, honey. I can't remember.
Remember?
He probably did. If it was locally, I suppose. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyhow, Ron, one day he was waiting for a call. Don't you remember? Or he wanted to make a call.
Yeah,
Maybe that was it.
I think it was he wanted,
You want to make a call, I think. And Mrs. Hammonds and somebody else was on the phone. And he was getting so pissed because and I'd say, Ron, just, wait your turn. They'll be he says, all they're talking about, Mom, is opening a window and shutting a window. That's all they're talking about. They ain't talking about nothing important.
We eavesdropped on him, Alex. Us kids would eavesdrop on it.
I don't doubt it. That sounds like you.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Making a mess?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't think this bulb's gonna hold it all. Damn it.
Eat more soup. Eat more.
Ooh. I don't think so either.
What?
I don't think so.
Don't think so. What?
It's not going to hold it.
No, it's not for it.
Yeah.
I'll probably end up freezing part of this, Mom. So, 'cause I don't think you and I are, unless Alex is gonna take it home. But I'll probably end up putting it in the freezer. It'll be good.
It may
soup,
be really
Mom.
good some night at 20 below
When it's
zero.
20 below, it's gonna taste pretty damn good.
That's my parting gift to both of you.
Oh, thank you, Alex.